Good afternoon, everybody. So, I'm not sure why the attendance rate is so low today. Okay. So let us start. Okay, tonight we are discussing a very important and interesting topic, object-oriented programming. Okay. In last lecture, I went through some few slides, maybe for the first 15 slides, and I went through a live program with Java, and I have a copy of C# and C++ version of this program. But do not go through C++ and C# version right now. I will tell you in detail. There are some basic differences between C++, Java, and C# in object-oriented programming concept. So please give attention to me. The first 30 minutes I will discuss, I will review quickly, and then I will discuss something new in first 30 minutes, and the second half I will ask you to write your own program, okay? Interest activities. Okay, so let us do a quick review. So in our last lecture we discussed object-oriented programming. Object means an entity, right? That has some characteristics, okay, and features. In our real life, everything whatever we see or something even we do not see are objects. In real life we deal with objects every time, every moment. Like pen is an object, myself is an object, table is an object, this building is an object, the whole universe is an object, right? There are some objects that are visible, but there are some objects that are not visible but useful or strengthy, right? What are some objects that are not visible but useful? You remember? Any object that is not visible but useful and has strength? You don't need to be here. So all an object and an entity. In physics, in terms of physics, you say an entity, right? So chair is an object. Okay? As a human being, I'm an object. You are an object. Your computer is an object. Your phone is an object. These are visible objects. Okay? I'm asking you to give an example of an object that is not visible. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? You can give an example. Anything else? Yeah.
Carbon.
Huh?
Carbon monoxide.
Okay, carbon monoxide. That is okay. Yeah, should tell me.
A thought.
Okay, so you have a cell phone, right, over there. So it has something, right? So that it has some signal. Phone signal, right? Or we say internet signal. If you do not have internet signal for an hour or a few minutes or a few seconds, you realize that something is lost, right? For instance, our Wi-Fi signal, that is a kind of object. Okay, that is not visible but is very powerful, right? Very, very powerful than many objects that are visible. Okay. So in our program, actually, we will create imaginary objects, not real objects. Even if we say table, if we create a class is a collection of objects, similar objects, a group of objects. Okay, this is common noun. Whenever so we say man or animal is a common noun, right? Okay, so then we say flower, food, fruits. In general name, these are called class. And when you say specific entity, an specific instance of a class, then we say that is an object. For instance, in general, it has a name. What is it? If I ask a question, what is it? A marker, right? A marker, that is a class name. And this is an individual marker, right? Maybe there are other types of markers, right? Like this, what is it? A pen, right? The name is pen, that is a class name. But individually it is an object. Whenever we say class, that is invisible. You cannot say you cannot see a pen, right? It's kind of pen. Okay, you understand? Whenever if I ask you, give me a pen, you will give me a pen. That may be something like this, but not exactly maybe like this. Okay. So The object-oriented concept is that we will design or develop programs in real-life fashion and with more powerful. And one of the advanced features of object-oriented programming is that we will see reusability. Okay, so in this chapter you will learn actually how to create a class, an object. What is a class? A class is a user-defined data type. Like we know there are 8 primitive data types, right? What are those? Okay, that's good. Short, byte, int, long, double, float, double, character. Okay, those are type, right? An integer type variable holds only integer value. These are built-in data type. Okay. But in addition to this built-in data type, we will create our own type. That is our goal, to create our own type. Okay. So for instance, it's a dog. Whenever we say dog, it's an animal, right? It's kind of animal, right? Dog is a class. So in this, so we will see soon. We will create a dog class, and then we will create dog instance, dog object. Okay, God can create a new actual dog. We will not create actual dog. We will create imaginary dog. Okay, only God can create something living being, right? But we will say dog object, but that is not real dog. But whatever a real dog has features, we will give that features to our imaginary dog. And in program perspective, it will work. In real life, we will create object. For instance, when you go to create your bank account, you come here to create your student account. Okay, that is a kind of object. And in our last lecture, we will discuss this. We discuss how to create a class. Okay, so a class start with a class keyword. Sometimes you will see private, public keyword or not. Maybe by the end of today's lecture or next lecture, we will discuss what is public, private means. Okay, but maybe not today. So in our last lecture, we discussed how to create a class in Java. How far we went through? Let me see how far do I went through. Oh.
We still have part 1.
How many slides I went through?
That's part 2.
Okay, I am thinking that one. Is that part 1? Yeah. Yes. So this is actually this is part 1, right?
Yes.
Yeah. In our last lecture, we went through this. Okay. So I asked you to write a definition of a class. So what is a class? A class. Who wrote down my definition last week? You write down?
I mean, class is like a...
What is a class?
It's like a generic...
I asked you to memorize those definitions. A class is a what?
Programmer-defined data type.
Okay. A class is a programmer-defined data type
containing variables
that contains some variables, two things, that contains two kind of things. Okay. Some variables and some functions. What are the use of those functions? To access those variables, right?
Yeah.
So the ingredient of a class has two types. Some variables, maybe normal variables that you are used to, integer, float, double, string, boolean. Those are the variables, and some functions. The functions of a class are called methods, right? Okay. So so in order to declare a class, we use class keyword. We use class keyword all in lowercase, and then we give class name, and we give opening and closing brackets, and then this is the general format. This is used in Java, and this is same thing in C#, Java and C#, but C++ is different. It's a little bit different, and in C++ it ends with a semicolon. Okay, so in our last lecture we
Is that the only
discussed.
difference between them?
Now there are many differences. Please give attention, and I will discuss at least 4 or 5 differences today in one lecture. Okay, we will go through. An object is an instance of a class. Then in our last lecture we discussed this, and we added attributes, and we stopped here, maybe the constructor. Okay, so this is our last program, this program that we discussed in our last lecture. And in that lecture what we did, we created a class named student, and with attribute or variable id, name, gender, CGPA and boolean. Okay, and this is a constructor. Okay, so we created constructor. This is a called a constructor. Okay, and also we created some objects. Okay, and we give some print statement. That was what we went last through. I started with Java. Okay, and then I have version with C# and C++. I coded it at home. Okay, so in order to save my time, I will discuss all of these 3 languages, but give attention please. Okay, you don't need to go to the code again, but there are some substantial differences language to language. You need to understand those. Okay, I will tell you what are the differences, but let us recap this quickly. So this is a class, right? The class name is student, right? So here by creating this class we are creating a type, student type, right? We are creating a new data type. What is my data type name here? Student. Okay, what are the ingredients of this student? What are the elements of this student class? These are the 4 or 5 variables, right? Everybody is familiar with this type, right? Anyone has any question about what is boolean type, what is string type, what is float type? Anyone has any question? Okay, so everybody is familiar with working this variable independently, but we will create a student class. That student class will contain all these variables combinedly. Okay, and in addition to these variables there are some functions. Okay, the function of a class is called method. So how do I know this is the function? Whenever something ended with a pair of parentheses, that is called function, right? Quick way to understand, this is a function, it ended with something. If you see something within parentheses, that called argument or parameters, or you may not see something. This is and this is also another function and method. And this is study is a function, sleep is a function, enjoy is a function, work is a function. We can add as many number of functions as needed. Okay. So this is what, so these are the functions. Okay, so when a class contain a function that has name exactly is class name, that is called a constructor. So this function is called student function, right? You see that its spelling is exactly same as its class name. Then we call this is a constructor. Constructor is a function, but this constructor has some special attributes. First of all, a constructor cannot have any return type or any return statement. That is the first restriction. A constructor cannot have a return type or return statement. Even you cannot say void. No, not allowed. Okay. And another thing, that the first of rule, how do I know that this is a constructor? We know that exactly same name of a class name, right? So if you say my class name student start with S is in uppercase, so you cannot say S is in, you can say have a method S is in lowercase, but we will not tell that it's a constructor. It is another method, traditional method. Okay, in order to be a constructor, it will have exactly same name, character by character, okay, of its class name. You understand? No option, no exception. Okay, so this is not a constructor, but this is a constructor. Okay, every class contains a constructor this is an empty constructor or default constructor. Every class contains this constructor, no matter whether you declare it or do not declare it. Even if you do not declare a constructor, by default you will have this constructor in your class. You understand? Another rule, right? Okay, we can have multiple constructors in a class. For instance, this is called default constructor and this is called argumented constructor. So this has arguments, okay. And I saw that how easy to create this constructor in last time I used Eclipse, right? Using Eclipse we can create constructors easily by right clicking, okay. Okay, so this constructor has some arguments, okay. So a class can contain multiple constructors, okay, like a class can contain multiple methods. So whenever a class contains multiple constructor, but this constructor must be different in terms of the types of parameters or number of parameters. So this has 0 parameter and this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parameters. Okay, so then the next question is that why and when do we use a constructor? A constructor is used when we create an object. Otherwise we do not use constructor. Constructor is used only and only case when we create an object. Okay, and in Java Java and C#, how do we use create an object? Like for instance, if I say student, I can say student say S1. If I say student S1 equal to new student, so here S1 is an object. We use new keyword and constructor. Okay, so here how do we create a normal variable? We create a normal variable like we use data type and then we use variable name and we assign some value, right? Or even we do not assign some value. If we say integer x, this is a normal variable declaration, and we may later maybe you can say x equal to 5, that is variable assignment. And here we usually say student S1 equal to new student. You can give any name. This S1 is an object. We will not tell it as long as our data type, this is our data type, is not one of the 8 primitive data type. Other than, if our data type is other than 8 primitive data types, then we call this is this kind of variable, but we will say that object, an object, okay. And we can create also object something like this. You may see this like in Java and C#, but not in C++. For instance, this one here, S2 is not an object, but this is S2 is a reference, and here S1 is an object. So how do I distinguish an object and a reference? Is that a object is created always with new keyword, okay, and always the object has its own position in memory. But sometimes the references do not have a position in memory, but it refer to another object. And also we can create, so this is how we used empty constructor or default constructor, and here we create mic object using our argumented constructor. There are differences between this S1 and S2 object and Mike, Lee and Dave object. So these objects have their own properties. While they are created, we gave them built-in properties. Okay, we said this object's name is ID is 1, name is Michael Lu, and gender is male, and this is GPA, and is activeness is true. So this value will go to all of these individual attribute. Yes.
What exactly is the constructor supposed to do again?
A constructor is used to create an object. Nothing else.
Create the object within the class? Like, why do you need an entire constructor?
Sorry.
Can't you just create the object within the class? Like, why is the constructor needed?
Okay. So let me give you you will get your answer in a few minutes. So what is your question?
So are you supposed to put this all within this, like, aren't you supposed to create a different header, or no?
In C++,
Okay.
not in Java. Okay, in Java you can put this class. So you see that class is start here, you see the line number 2, and it ends where? Line number 43. So this is an entire class. Okay, this student class start in line number 2 and it ends in line number 44. Even it is a small class. A class can be 100 or 1000 lines. Class decoration can be 100 or 1000 lines. Okay, so you can put this in a different let me somehow my Eclipse version deleted. Let me create this quickly in student class. I wanted to give just a package. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, since if I copy my code and paste over here in Eclipse, it works. It will create the object automatically. Class name create automatically. Okay. So here, there is a good thing. Okay. So in Java, Eclipse. Okay. In Eclipse, so whenever we write some program code, we need to save that in a file, right? The file name will be exactly same name of a class name that has public property. So in a file, we can have only one public class. So here, this is my student class, and I can have another class in another file, or I can have. So this is the class. I do not have the main method here yet. Okay, I don't see that I do not have the main method. Only this class over here. So where the main method will be? Main method will be in another class. Okay, so this is my main method, main class. Okay. So let me create another class. It's called public. Okay, initially it is difficult. It is maybe is clumsy because I'm moving from one place to another place, but give attention please, then you will understand. Okay, I will repeat until you understand. Okay, so here I paste my copy, but the convention is that in Eclipse you can have only one public class. Okay, and your main method should have in a class that will be public and that will be same name, exactly the file name. So here it is giving me error because you see that my class name, main class name that contains the main method, it has name main, right? But here my class name is student, so it is conflicting. It does not correlate with the rule. Okay, so what do I need to do? Either I can put this in a different file, or I can rename this as student. So easy for me, I can copy and cut this, and I can put here. Already exists. It says okay, it's main already exists. No. I want to. So what is my main over here? Oh, you see the last time I used this program, it says main. Okay, so I want to make this one in last program. I got it, I was looking. So main, I want to rename, as you see the main name over here, and it has main name. So and it is not complaining an error, but this one is making an error. Can anyone please tell me what is the error here? I just told you. My student class is making an error over here, showing an error. What is the error here? The reason? Yes, this student class needs to be public, right? So whatever the file name you save, student.java, that class must be public in. So now it is okay, right? Okay. Now this is my student class, and this is my main class. I want to rename it as student main. Let me see, as I want to do refactor and then rename. I can say student main. As soon as I say student main, I press enter, you will see that my name will be renamed over here. This one will be renamed as main, is renamed as student main. Okay, now I see. In Eclipse, it is easy, something that you can automatic. So this is my student class. Okay, so then I can run this. So which program I will run? I will run the class that has the main method. Other program, this student class, it will not run because it does not have the main method. This student, it does not have the main method, so it will not run. It will not complain. Okay, now whatever so far we got, and in last time we saw that we use the toString method. We override the toString method. Why? In order to display an object in our visual string format, we override the toString method. Okay, so this program is working good. You see that it is giving me output student ID like this. Whatever I put in my, the way I put here, over here, that is showing exactly what is I'm showing put over here. That will be printed as my output. But if I do not give this one, what will be my error over here? Can anyone please recall? If I do not override the toString method, then what will happen? What will be my output? If I do not override the toString method, my output will be something like this. It will show me memory address, but this is not meaningful for us, not useful, right? In order to make our output useful, what do we need to do? We need to override the toString method. toString method is a built-in method in object class, but we need to rewrite, that means in our own format. However I like to display my object, I like to display the toString method, rewrite the toString method. toString method always return a string type, so we need to put public string toString method and return everything as a string. Whenever the first, we know that a method, whenever it start with first thing string, then everything becomes string. Okay, so this is what we discussed in our last lecture. Now we see that we told you that, so if I say I created two other objects, right? Here I created two other objects, student S1 and S2. So S1 and S2. So previously I had Mike, Lee and Dave object, and now I created student S1 and S2. So now let us understand the difference between S1 and S2 and the previous these objects. Okay, so if I want to print S1, what will be printing, and if I want to print S2, what will be printed? Okay, you see that I cannot print S2 because it is showing me an error, because S2 is not object and yet S2 is a reference. So a reference, that means a representative that must present someone else, right? Another object, maybe I can put S2 equal to Leah. Okay, no, I cannot. I can say S2 is equal to Leah. Then you can see I can print over here. Okay, so but this S1 is to an object that has not any value assigned. Okay, but we know that we have assigned for mic ID, name and gender, grade and is current or not. But for S1 I have not set up any value yet. I have not set up any attribute yet. So what will be our result here? You see that for this is for student this one, this is for student this one. For this one output is this one. You see the ID equal to 0, name equal to null, gender equal to null, GPA equal to 0, current value equal to false. Current is current status. Okay, but for this one S2 equal to what value it is showing? Whatever the value the Leah object has, right? Whatever value Leah has, it is showing exactly same thing. So this is a reference. S2 is a reference. When you say reference, when we do not use the new keyword, then we call it this is a reference. Remember that? A reference cannot work independently. A reference must refer someone, another object, another existing object. Okay, you understand? Okay. Now you please give attention. Okay, people who are doing something else, okay, please stop whatever you are doing and give me attention for the next 15 minutes. After 15 minutes I will give you your own task. You have to write your own program, but you need to understand this. Okay, for this S1 we see that we do not have any value assigned for this S1. So how do we assign value to S1? Okay, we use dot operator. That means if I say S1, only we feature this feature I get Eclipse and NetBeans and then ID, but not in Replit. So
you said that you're going to give us our own task. Are you going to show in C++
yes,
before you do
after that, when I show C++, after that I will give a task. Give me a few minutes, please. Let me finish this. I just review whatever I discussed last week and last lecture, and I'm starting something new. Okay, at least one topic. So I say S1, I did not assign any value for S1. I will assign, I want to assign value for S1. How do I assign? We just object name, then dot. You see that as soon as we put dot operator, and then most of the IDE there, it is showing me something, a list of existing attributes, right? Okay, so it says S1, so it is showing CGPA is colon float, that means type is float, and dash student, that means CGPA is a float type and that is defined in student class, and then gender is a string type that is defined in student class, and ID is int type that is defined in student type, and is current is boolean type that is defined in student class. You understand this? At least this, right? And you see that I will have some methods. You say that study method, that is return type is void and defined in student. Okay, and then toString method is return type is string and redefined in student class. And you see that some other method has return is declared in object class, and object class is a built-in class. Every class we create in object-oriented programming, okay, inherits properties from this built-in class. So this is why we are seeing this. So for instance, let us assign ID. So I say dot ID equal to, say, if I say 5, okay, then it's good. And if I say S1 dot, what is next, gender equal to female, okay, and say S1 dot CGPA equal to 3.5. Since we have this float type, we need to give an F at the end, and S1 dot is current boolean and equal to is current, so it's boolean value, right? Either true or false we need to give, right? Nothing else. So now if I print S1, so we must define the value before we use it, print it. So now you will see that our student, this S1 student, will get this value. So if I run this program, you see that our student got this value. Oh, we have not assigned name yet, right? So I say s1 dot name equal to what name you want? No. Tyler? Okay. Whatever name I give, so it's showing name and then f. This is the value, right? For f1, it is showing, right? So there are two ways we have learned so far that we can assign the value when we create an object, if we have that kind of overloaded constructor, or if we do not have use overloaded constructor or do not have that overloaded constructor, later we can use dot operator to assign value to this. Two ways to assign value, right, of a student object. What are the two ways? One way, first way, we learn using constructor, if it is argumented constructor, and second way to use dot operator. Okay, but this is a conventional way, but this is a non-conventional way, because it is possible only if the attribute are public or protected, or in Java at least default. In Java has default characteristics that other languages do not have, like C# and C++ do not have. Okay, so we usually need to keep property like public, accessibility, either public or private, or if you do not give anything, that means called public. Okay. So by default, and if you do not give anything, that is called default. Default is not a keyword. So if you say default, then that is accessible within the package, within the same family. Default means this is accessible within same family. Okay, so now you see that my program is running good. Okay, but if I make this one private, as soon as I make this private, you see that my main program is getting an error. Please give attention. Look at the screen, please. As soon as I made it private, my program is giving error, right? What is the error? My CGPA is not accessible. If I hover my mouse over here, then it says sense visibility of CGPA to package or create Gator or setter for CGPA. We have two different options, but this is not visible. Okay, here the problem is here, the reason is here, we cannot access private property publicly. So in our daily life or real life, we have different kind of information. Some information we keep secret, right? Our social security number, right? Some information we explore. Our name, right? Okay. Maybe some information like our bank balance, how much money we have in our account, we don't like to explore it, right? Okay. So the fields that we want to keep secret, that are defined as private. So as soon as we make an attribute private, we cannot use this publicly. The dot operator is used for public. Okay, so we do not have access for this. So now if I delete this, remove this, then my program is fine, right? So but here my constructor is not making any error. Okay, then what is the solution? How to access this private property? Even in Java we have default. If you do not give anything, then it is good, still it is accessible. If we do not give any private or public, that is called default, then still it is accessible and this program will be running. But here the problem is that if I give private property cannot be and should not be accessible publicly, right? but it should be accessed in a secure manner. For instance, we have our social security card that we keep secret, right? But sometimes we need to explore it. Remember that first time when you came to KSA for admission, right? You have to give your social security number to a person in admission office, right? You gave your social security number to that person, you believe that he or she was a trusted person, right? And when you go to create a bank account, open a bank account, you need to give a social security number, right, to the banker. So that means we use the private information privately or secretly in a secure manner, right? So then what is the secure manner for this one will be, when I have this one, some attribute, the secure manner is that we need to call getter or setter method. So here this is, you see that there is an option in the second option it was giving me, so create getter and setter for CGPA. So if I click over here quickly, if I click over here, okay, then okay, there are another option, change visibility of CGPA to package. What does this mean? Okay, so if I click the first one, let us see what happens. If I click the first one, the visibility is, that means actually what is that? Previously it was private, so package means the private will be gone. Okay, this is default, package means default. Okay, but if I want to still private, then I have to go to the second option. What is the second option? Create getter and setter for CGPA. Everybody keep your eyes over here, so it will happen very quickly. Okay, so keep your eyes over here. So over here, so if I select the second one, create getter and setter method, if I double click over here, it is showing me what the getter method and setter method name I will be given over here. And if I, as soon as I press OK, then it will be created this set method. It's a set, this is called setter method, and actually this method will be created in student class. Within my student class, you see that this is my get and set method. Get method is called the getter method and set method is called the setter method. This will be created in the class, original class, automatically. Okay, so that let us understand what is a getter method and what is a setter method. Although these come in alphabetic order, but getter method comes first, but setter method is used first. Setter method is used to set value of an attribute. Okay, hey Michael, give attention please. I'm very close. Okay, give attention this. Okay, I need few more minutes. Setter method is used to set value of an attribute. So what is the attribute I am setting value for here? CGPA. Okay, and let me take it above. As soon as it is anywhere in class, then it is fine. Okay, as soon as anywhere in class, then it is fine. Okay, for this CGPA, sorry, I want to use here, not I want to paste here, just right after my attributes, so that you can see. So my attribute is, private attribute is CGPA, right? So I am setting set CGPA. This is the convention, they put set and C is in uppercase, and this type will be exactly same type, and you say this dot CGPA equal to CGPA. Okay, and this is the setter method, and this is the getter method. It's a get CGPA that returns the CGPA, returns the value. So the return type will be exactly same name of this attribute name. Yes.
So what's the point of having it private if you can just, if you have those other ones
Public. Good question, right? So this is why is public, right? This attribute is public. Sorry, this method is public, right? And this method is a good question. Okay, so a $1 million question. Okay, so if you understand that, then it's a good thing. So I know that you have a social security card, right?
Right.
Do you always keep that secret?
Yeah.
No.
But
Sometimes you explore that. When you go to create a bank account, you do not explore that? Then the banker will not create a bank account for you. No, never. If you do not show your social security card, maybe in banker will not allow you to create an account. Maybe your government some ID. So if you go to driver license, you will not get driver license. Anyway, but some reason, even we say our private information, but sometime at some point we need to explore that, right? We need to open that, right? So that means we need to open that, use that in a trusted manner. Whenever you believe that this is a trusted manner, so Gator setter method is a trusted manner. So I am making this public. That means whoever access to the setter method, he will be able to access to set my CGPA. Whoever have access to get my CGPA, this public method, then he will be able to see my CGPA. The reason is very similar that, or even our some property is our like social security number is secret or private, but somehow we need to explore it, right? We need to make it public, at least some in some position, at somewhere. Otherwise, why do we use it? Why do you have? What is the benefit? You have a social security number if you never can use it. Then there is no reason, right? Okay. So that thing is that you said the getter method and setter method are confusing. For the new programmers, sometimes you confuse. So remember that getter method always returns a value and setter method always set a value. Setter method never returns anything, so return is a void for setter. Okay, I do remember this way. I used to remember this way. Getter method GET is called getter. Getter method I remember this way. Getter method GET and then go RET. Getter method returns. So getter read like this way. GET get until 3 and then these three last three letters read aloud reversely. RET. Getter method returns a value. Okay, so getter then RET. So then it's called getter GET then TER. Okay, getter method you can remember this way. Getter method returns a value and setter method sets a value. Now how does it set? Remember that it has a special operator that is called this. In all languages, C++, Java and C# has a special keyword. It is called this operator, this keyword. This keyword is to use is sometimes optional but sometimes required. If you have, so before that, okay, give attention. If you give attention, then you will understand and you will not forget ever. You will remember forever. Okay, so here is this. What is this one? This is a parameter, right? Argument, right? This is CGPA. And what is this CGPA? It has a different name, special name in class design. Attribute or field, right? Okay, so whenever an argument has its exactly same name of its corresponding attribute or field name, exactly same name, this is exactly same, right? Case sensitive, right? Then this is that we cannot use this way. It says CGPA equals CGPA, compiler will make an error. So confusing, what to do? So then we need to use this operator. We say this dot CGPA equal to CGPA. But if I have a different name, for instance, this I have a different name. CGPA, C is in uppercase, right? And here C is in uppercase. These are two different, right? So then this operator is use of this is optional. I may use this and or I may not use this. So when this operator is must use it whenever this argument name is same exactly as its corresponding or field name, then we need to use this. Otherwise, if they are different name, then we find this using this is option. Understand everybody? Who understand this? Raise your hand. I believe some people didn't listen it yet. This is a confusing thing, okay? And an interview question. That do we need to use this or not? Okay. So this, if it is same name exactly of his class name, then this we need to use this. Otherwise, if it is different name, then we do not need to use. Okay, this is setter method always like this, and getter method is always like this, and getter method returns a value that is exactly of type of this. Okay, and in Eclipse we can use getter and setter method for all other fields. If you see that I just created getter and setter method for only CGPA, but if I do right click and then click source and then click generate getters and setters, then if you click over here, and Eclipse will give you an option, then you can create getter and setter method for all of the attributes by one click, single click.
Well, is this equivalent to using Visual Studio? Because we use Visual Studio.
Okay, so Visual Studio it should have. You can do this Visual Studio in some language, but I'm giving you. So as long as you understand one setter and one getter, you can create your own getter and setter. Okay, right? So you see that for this one name, okay, my name is get name is returning a string type, because why? My name was a string type, right? And whenever I set name, it is string name, and it has this dot name equal to name. Okay. And if you understand one getter and one setter, then you should understand, you can type in all getter and setter methods. Okay. And now if I have this getter and setter methods, then I can use getter and setter method for any area. Say you can say dot s1 dot get id, and within parenthesis, I need to get set id first. Set id within parenthesis I will put 5. That means instead of setting id directly, I can put this within setter method. Setter method is used to set value, and getter method is used to get value. Okay. So that today we learn how to create getter and setter method. And see one thing that I want to review over here quickly, that this is the constructor. You see that how the setter method was used to set each of these value. So the constructor does like same thing. You see that int id, and these are the exactly same type of our field type. So let me move it to the top so that we can see this. Let me move it here so that we can see it. For this argumented constructor, you see that id is exactly integer type, okay, and then we put this dot id equal to this, and we put this name is a string type over here is name string type. So we need to put this dot name equal to name, this dot gender equal to gender, this dot, okay, so so they put like this way. Okay, so actually my cursor was over here. So okay, so CGPA is come here like set id because CGPA was private, so I could not create this. So this is where this dot CGPA equal to CGPA. It will not work this way because CGPA is okay. It will work this way, but we should not use this way. Okay, so because it is in constructor I can use it because this constructor has own access, but otherwise we do not use this. So you see this dot current is current equal to current. Okay, so now everybody understand. Okay, anyone has any questions so far with Java? Yes.
I may need to get a
My program is over here. My program is entire program is in Replit, and I also tonight I will put the updated code on Replit. Okay, maybe I can put quickly right now. So what we created new here, so my student class, right? So let me put my student class over here. Student class, this is the entire student class. You see that until here is my student class, and I can put my, this is Java, this is my student class. Okay, I don't need it public. Okay, the Java, and for this part for my student main, and I use this, right?
Why you need to have it public? Now I'm confused.
Let me see. I'm answering your question. Give me 1 second, please. I have my main, this, so it should run. But anyone has any question, the program is running. Okay, anyone has any question with Java? Okay, how many of you have labs in Java? Okay, so tonight when you go home, copy my program in your account and practice it. Sorry, I will not have time to do demo tonight. And your next lecture, bring your own computer, and you must write your code. Okay, we will do class activity in next lecture. Okay, so first copy my code in your computer, in your account, and then try to understand this. Okay, if you have any question, please bring your question next. Okay, so this is in C++. Now, but there are some differences in between in C# and in C++. Let us go to C# quickly. Between these, I will go C++. I have code over here already. I did it, but you will not understand something. Give me time. I have time. Okay. So let me quickly convert it into C#. Okay. Let me delete it from C#. Okay. Everything. Let me delete everything from C#, so that I can create this in fresh. Okay. Let me delete everything. Okay, C#, it is fresh. There is nothing here except hello world. So let me copy this. Okay, people who are taking C# lab, raise your hand, please. Only 1, 2. Who are taking C# lab?
We only have like 8 students in here.
Okay, give your attention, please. Give your attention. Okay, I will ask you a question. So my student class. Okay, this is my student class. This is my student class. This is, you see that my student class, it starts on line number 2 and it ends on line number 90. A very small class, but still it has 90 lines, right? About 90 lines. So let me copy this code from here to my here.
Wait,
Student.
How come you took off the public in Java?
In Java, so if you use Eclipse, then you need to make it public. But Eclipse, if you use Eclipse, then you have to make it public. But if you do not use Eclipse, Replit, then you do not need to make it public. Okay, and this is my main class. So this is my element in my main class. Okay, so I just put copy and paste everything from Java to C#. Okay, everybody please give attention. Everybody needs to learn all of these 3 languages. Okay, no exception. So okay, what changes we need to do? Okay, who are taking Java lab, C# lab? Yeah, tell me, what are the differences? What changes I need to make first? First, this one, right? I need to change, replace. Okay, I am changing all system.out.println by console.writeline. But think, by this time, think yourself. Is there anything we need to change? No, C# people.
I know I'm taking
I'm going C++. Going to give me. Let me finish it. It is quick, so this let me finish it. Still, it will have some error. Even I have a lot of errors, right? Okay, so let us see one by one what are the differences between C++, between Java and C#. The first difference is we see that we need to replace all system.out.println by console.writeLine. That is a simple one, right? You understand, right? Okay, but the second difference is that I told some differences. In C#, there is no boolean. The keyword is, what is the keyword in C#? Bool. Thank you. This is the bool, so I need to change this bool. And wherever I have boolean, I need to change that by bool. Okay, so here I have to change by, so there is maybe, okay, one change. So far I did two changes actually. What else?
Well, you still have a boolean there. You still have a system dot print line.
Okay, another thing is that, let me see.
Okay.
Yeah, another thing is that in C, Java allows default accessibility. Java has default. So in Java, if we do not give any public or private, it is okay. There is a default property. Accessibility in Java, but C# does not have default, so you must use it either public or private. C# it will not allow. So keeping blank is not allowed. Here allowed. Keeping default is not allowed in C#, so you need to make it either public or private. Okay, so then error is coming less, right? So I have 4 errors. It's coming less. Okay. Previously, if this do not, whenever I did not have this.
You have a boolean down there.
Okay.
Bool.
Constructor does not have a return type.
No, one of the parameter types is still boolean instead of bool.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. So this one, right? You said? Okay, that's good. Okay, what else?
You still have a print, the system dot out dot print line at the bottom.
Yeah? Oh, here? Okay, that's good. I thought I did everything. Okay. Okay, I have 3 more errors. First one is another one. See this toString method. Okay, in Java, the toString method, 2 is in lowercase, but in C#, 2 is in uppercase. Okay, still it will have error. Okay, and you see that, let me show side by side. In Java, we use override annotation. Okay, but in C# there is no annotation. That means we start with @ keyword, but in C# there is no override annotation, but we use, in Java we use override. O is in uppercase. You see that O is in uppercase and and this is called annotation. And in C# we use O override as a keyword, but we write public override string.
Wait, what's override?
Okay, override is rewriting. Rewriting.
Rewriting?
Yeah, what is in our, we say override, right? If we have something, we erase it and we write something new. Okay, so actually this is related to inheritance, so you will not, in the next lecture maybe I will tell you something. Okay, I have one more error. Okay, so what is this one? Student already contains a definition of is current. So line number 50 and then 14. Okay, line number 50, line number 5050 is current. So he said is already has is current. Somewhat boolean. So let me delete this one. That's good. Okay, now we see the differences between Java and C#. Okay, so now C# people get this code, and for the C++ people, okay, you need to give really more attention. So for the C++ people, I need few more minutes. Okay, maybe I need to finish it. Okay, give me 5 more extra minutes. Okay, in C++, okay, there are quite different something than Java and C#. First of all, in Java and C#, we use public and public private like, but in C++ we use public and then colon. And Java and C# we do not use colon. Okay, whenever we say public and until we change our this status, everything is public. So once we say declare public, then after this you started until you say change status, maybe private, everything, this is also public, this is public, this is all of these are public. So you see then in C++, first thing is that you need to use this colon. Okay, okay, and also this is similar for method. So in Java and C# we use only public, but here we use public and then colon sign. So wherever you see that public or private or whatever you see, we need to use colon sign. Understand? Okay. You need it public, then colon, this extra colon we need.
You need it on each one?
Yes, for each one you need to define. Or, yeah, for each one, for each method you need to
I don't know, when I wrote it.
For the variables, you can give a common, even give a common accessibility, but for method you need to give. Okay, and for, okay, okay, give me 2 more minutes, please. So for in C++, instead of dot operator, you use arrow, then this arrow sign. Instead of dot operator, you use arrow sign. Okay, and this is the very difficult, and class name ends with a semicolon, and this is the most important part in C++, that it does not have the toString method, but we need to override this output operator, but this is a very different way.
Alright, we'll do that next lecture instead of trying to cram it in 30 seconds.
Okay, and here in order to create an object, you do not need to use the new operator in C++. Okay, you do not need to use new operator.
Do we have class on Thursday?
Yes, we have class on Thursday. Okay,
The schedule says we don't.
no, schedule doesn't say we will have class on Thursday.
We do have class on Thursday?
Yes. Yes.
Check your name over for attendance. I already emailed you.
Yeah. Okay, so make this practice, and then next lecture please bring your own device, laptop, and I will ask you to write program. Okay. Thank you so much.
Can you fix my attendance on Thursday since I forgot to sign in?
Send me an email, please.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have to send you an email with that too. Okay, but that's not the point. So the thing is, Professor, I have been trying to use the notes for the last 2 quizzes, and I failed the last 2. Am I allowed to
Send me an email, please.
What?
Send me an email.
The lecture schedule at the very bottom, it
You should say may not have.
says no classes on
Okay.
311 through 314.
Okay, that's a good thing. Also, we will have classes. I will ask to change it.
Wait.
We will have class?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have class.
Thank you.
Well, wait, Professor, on the quizzes, am I allowed to use the internet?
Yeah.
I am?
Yes.
Okay,
The
thank
quiz is
you.
yours.
Thanks, Professor.